Podcast activated. Your weekly football fix kicks off now.
You can follow the LFC Total Red Football Podcast on X, Facebook, YouTube and TikTok.
Total Red Football Podcast with myself, Kings. Joining me tonight, we've got Neil and we've got Ritchie. And we'll be looking at the Crystal Palace game, which the Reds won 3-1, moved them up to 4th position in the Premier League. Reports that Arne Slot might be adding to his backroom staff over the summer. We'll also be talking about the possibility of Curtis Jones leaving LFC this summer. And then, of course, the injury to Mo Salah. Will he make it back before the end of the season? And finally, we will mention the game against the old rivals, biggest game in UK soccer. Soccer, see? Said it wrong now. UK football. It's this Americanization that's creeping in, isn't it? See? But, the biggest game in UK football, bar none, I think. But, obviously there'll be people out there who think differently. But we'll first off have a chat with the two lads who are with us tonight. So, Neil, how's it going?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Kings. Been busy. It does feel like the season's almost over, which it is. So all hopes of a trophy have gone. So it's just hoping that we don't have any more dramas and we cement that place in the Champions League. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. Actually, I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah. Ritchie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I spoke earlier. I've just had 8 brand new golf irons delivered that I've not broke out of the box, not quite yet, because I was doing this podcast. So yeah, good weekend ahead. I'm really hoping that we smash the old enemy, because I cannot cope if we lose to Manchester United, and I'm sure my friends will never ever forgive me if we let them go 6 points in 6 this season. So fingers crossed we'll do the biz. But yeah, it's nervy times really, and I'm sure we'll go into everything Liverpool, but I just don't know. It's just very testing times at the moment.
Yeah, it is indeed. One of the games I talked to Kev last week about playing Crystal Palace. A bit of a bogey side this season, and we were obviously both in agreement that they needed to at least get the win now when it counts at the tail end of the season to get further up the league. And they obviously duly did that. A 3-1 win, goals from Isak, Robertson, and Florian Wirtz as well right at the end. Takes them up to 4th place, just above Aston Villa, who seem to be slightly faltering. We've been going on so far this season, Neil, about can they even make 5th place? At the moment, they're in 4th. So on schedule, do you think, in the last 4 games to maybe cement that place now?
We should be. So I think we're 8 points clear, aren't we? Of, I don't even know if it's Chelsea. It might even be Brighton now.
Yeah,
so
I think it's Brighton.
With
Brighton,
12
yeah.
points, with 12 points to play for, you'd like to think that one more win's probably enough to get us over the line. If I go back a month, I didn't expect us to be in this position. And whilst it's, whilst we should be in this position, and whilst we have now got ourselves in there, I don't think it's that much to do with what we've done. I think it's more to do with other sides around us dropping points and not being good enough to move ahead of us. So Chelsea dropped off a cliff, didn't they? At a good time for us. So I think when you strip everything back, if we can finish as high as possible, but worst case in 5th position, it's kind of the least best scenario to come out of the season.
Yeah. Ritchie, what's your thoughts on obviously the 3-1 win, getting the points, so at least keeps them up there or thereabouts, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think I read if we beat Manchester United, we qualify for the Champions League this weekend. So it's a massive game. And again, we'll talk about Manchester United because I fucking hate them. But we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later. So yeah, I mean, Arne Slot said today, didn't he, that it's not a step backwards just qualifying for the Champions League. And I think he's right. Like, I don't know, we take it 2 months ago and we thought, gosh, we'll be really lucky to qualify. And I don't think I don't think our performances have been great. I think, as Neil said, a lot of teams have fallen off a cliff. You look at Aston Villa and you would have said, oh, nailed on to finish third. And they've fallen off a bit of a cliff. Manchester United, they're in there. We can overtake them on Sunday. And Chelsea have, you know, they I think they went winless for the first time in a century. So I think other teams have helped us, but also Arne Slot, if I'm completely honest. I think the pressure's been taken off Arne because the other teams around us have just dropped off a cliff, as you say. I think we will qualify, and I think that will save Arne's job, because that should have been the minimum expectation. And yes, we might have a transition season, but at the same time, I think we should have done better based on the performances. But we should absolutely 100%. I am a betting man. I would say, you know, we are nailed on now to qualify for that Champions League. And it's not at times, it's at our way in which we play. But I also think it's mainly at the detriment of the way that other teams have played and the other results that have come in.
Yeah. I think just looking at the game itself, I mean, Freddie Woodman had to come in goal. He came on obviously against Everton, and he did really well, to be fair. In this game, he was picked from the start because Mamardashvili hasn't recovered from I think it was a big gash by his knee. Obviously, Alisson Becker isn't quite ready yet either. So everybody's feeling the worst, thinking, well, we've got the third choice goalie now. And at one point, I mean, I don't want to get into the goal they scored too much because it's contentious either way. You know, people should say, well, you know, was he injured? He did catch his studs and he did like twist his knee a little bit, but the referee didn't blow. He scored. The Crystal Palace player scored. It's like, it's one of them to me. At least it made Liverpool nervy. But goals from Isak, his first goal in 2026. Andy Robertson with probably a farewell goal at Anfield. And obviously Florian Wirtz right at the end, at the cop end. Just at least settled the nerves enough that we got over the line, got this bogey side out of the way from this season. And I think, right, if it's going to save his job, then he's got to start now getting planning already. If he thinks he's going to be in the Champions League, yes, they know there's a pot of money going to be available. I think it was 80 or 90 million pounds from this season alone for the league format part. It's like, so they can start banking on that once they've qualified. He'll probably keep his job, like Ritchie said, and things have changed around the last couple of months. From there, he has to make a concerted effort this summer to turn around what has been overall a dismal season, really, hasn't he, Neil?
Yeah, I think it has been dismal, and you can probably count on one hand the number of like games that you've actually enjoyed watching, because it's been few and far between. And even the game against Crystal Palace, and I do agree that they have been a bogey side for us, and they're a difficult team to play against. I felt that we were on the rack at times, and I think we scored goals in good moments. And I think there's positives to taking all the goals. Obviously, Isak back on the score sheet. He showed a bit of sharpness in front of goal, which we haven't seen since his injury. Robbo's goal was how you would expect us to score goals. That brilliant counter from a corner, similar to the goal that Diaz scored against Brentford last season. And Wirtz, I think, does some really nice things, but his output had dried up a little bit, so I think it was important for him to score. So I think we're at the moment, it's results business, isn't it? It's like you take 3 points and you get out of there and you're happy. But looking forward, as you say, I still don't see enough identity in the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I look at Wirtz, and like he does some very good things. The second goal that Robertson scored, they talk about Jones and he did really well. It was a good pass and it was a good finish from Robertson. But Wirtz is actually under pressure just outside his own box and he turns and picks out Jones. And because it's like 2 passes before the goal, it goes a little bit unnoticed. But I still don't see him in his best role for the team, which I think we'll all agree is a number 10. And I also don't see the plan to get the best out of Isak. So you look at his goal didn't come from a well-worked move. It come from a mishit shot that he's taken very, very well. So I see a real lack of identity and plan in the way that we play. And I think we are just a moments team. And at the moment, we're fortunate that that's been enough to get us over the line. So I'm concerned unless we see, some changes and changes in personnel will help. We lack pace.
Yeah, of course.
On the wings, I think we're desperately missing a Fabinho type midfielder, and I think right back is an issue. So personnel may help, but does it transform a team that seemingly have no identity and no real plan? I'm not so sure.
Like and subscribe to the LFC Total Red Football Podcast on YouTube.
Rich, the goal that Robertson scored, as we said, it's Wirtz was very much involved. Woodman, cracking save in front of the Kop, and I think they've timed it now. It was 15 seconds up the field, couple of passes, done. It was in. Good for him to score at Anfield. There's been conflicting reports that he was offered a contract. He wasn't offered a contract, but he chose, to come out and say he is leaving. Nice for him to get that goal at least, and then in a way sign off just before the end of the season with another goal at least.
Yeah, I was sat here like a Churchill dog, I think, when like Neil was analysing that, because I was just nodding so much. Absolutely lovely that Robertson got that goal, and he's actually been trusted in the past couple of games. He's been starting over Kirkes, which is not a bad thing. I think Kirkes probably was thrown in too deep, if I'm honest. Like, I think Arne thought he could just go and replenish his Bournemouth style, and it wasn't quite that. I personally would have seen it flipped. So you see Robbo at the start of the season and then Kirkes now, because then it would have been bled in. We saw Fabinho, who again I was nodding to, yes, we absolutely miss him. He didn't actually really start playing until November, December, because he had to get bled into that system. It felt like the Kirkes, the Wirtz, and the Isak got thrown straight in. I know not Isak straight away, because obviously you massively lacking match fitness. He was not even training for Newcastle. He was playing for Sociedad. So it felt to me like it was too fast, too young, too soon. But I'm so glad Robert got the goal. I do think Kirkes is the next level. I do honestly believe that. I'm not saying it's biased. I do think Kirkes is that next level. But what will be interesting is, well, who comes in then? Does Tsimikas come back in that left back role? He's obviously on loan at Roma. Who fits into that left back role? I do think Kirkes is made for it. What I will say, I am the biggest Florian Wirtz fan. I've got I will turn around maybe. You can see it there. You go. So I'm the biggest fan. Honestly, I absolutely adore him. And I agree with everything that you've said, and especially what Neil has said as well. Take out the flicks, take out the kicks, and just play football. For me, that's the biggest thing. When he plays football, same as Ekitike, when they play football, when they got the ball at their feet, there's something magic is going to happen. Wirtz is a truly special player. And it's taken him a year. But I remember being on this podcast when we signed him. I said it will take him till January really to settle in, and we've seen since January he's evolved. He's gone from a bloody Charmeleon to a Charizard. He can go even more than that, because that's the sort of level that he can go to. He needs to play in the 10. I understand what Neil said. He needs to play in that 10, and the way that you unleash Isak is by playing him on the defender's shoulder, that Wirtz can unpick him and play that ball through, because Isak is not a Firmino. We've got to get out of our heads. This slot system is not a Klopp system. And as much as I adore Jurgen Klopp and as much as I love him and I would do anything to have him back, what we've now got is an Isak running off the last defender or an Ekatike maybe pulling in deep. So you play Wirtz in a different position. We've got horses for courses, it seems like, but we've not had, I don't think, the luxury of playing these players in these positions because of injuries, which is fine. So you play Isak on the last defender, you play Wirtz as the 10, he threads the balls through, and then Larry's your uncle. Like, you know, that I think I'm hoping that's our attacking system, the next four for the next couple of years. I'll be really interested to what you guys think as like, well, who's going to go on the right wing? Because there's going to be no Mo next year. Who's going to go on the left wing? I did actually want to ask, and again, something I'm not, you know, something we've not seen a lot of Rio because we've seen a lot of Cody, which is fine.
Yeah.
But Rio is different. So why haven't we seen Rio when he absolutely hit electric and now he's been dropped? Again, another debate maybe for another day. But for me, the Wirtz situation has to be in the 10. The Isak situation has to be on that last defender. If we're going for that, that's our way forwards. Like that 4-2-3-1. That is our system. Is Arne the one to deliver it? Jury's still a little bit out, if I'm honest, for me. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the summer if he is going to stay, because then really he's had how many windows? I know he's got a Premier League. He's out of contract in the summer. Enrique is out of contract next summer. You know, who knows what's going to happen. But in terms of going back to the original question, I suppose I wouldn't have let go of Robbo. If he wants first team football, absolutely fine. I think I would have flipped him and Kirkes away, because Kirkes should be playing more because he's going to be the next one.
Yeah,
I think the point. I agree with you, but I think with Robbo, he has not played as much football as he could have done. Yeah. I think he could have played a lot more. And to be honest, I'm really beginning to like Kirkes. I think 1v1 is really, really good, and I think we'll start to see his attacking output improve as well. But I do think Robertson could have played more than he did, and maybe that would have swung it for him, that he was happy to, you know, give us another season or two. So it's a bit disappointing, but I think it follows in the theme of the likes of Endo as well, that just haven't been played enough.
Yeah, this is it. Going back to what you said, Ritchie, I mean, yes, I would play Rio a lot more on that wing. I think what he tends to do, he brings him on when he wants to move Gakpo into the middle sometimes, like he had to do, obviously, last game. I just feel he doesn't trust him enough quite yet because he's young. And I think to myself, have you not seen the skill? Can you not see what we see, Arne Slot? Because, do you know what I mean? He bamboozles you. He dances at you and you're thinking, I don't know. I don't think he knows himself half the time where he's going with it. But so how can the defender know? Do you know what I mean? And I think, well, I hope to see a lot more of him in next season. And maybe, just maybe, they might save a fair bit of money on that left wing if they play him a lot more and let him get consistent and get used to it and all that kind of stuff. And I think then they can just look at the right wing and maybe a number 6. I know we've talked about a right back, etc., but a number 6 and a right wing, to me, are where we need to really shore up this squad, because we have talent. It's just getting the right balance and getting it to work properly. But all managers say.
I personally feel the midfield is the crux of the issue, because you go back towards the beginning of the season, we were so easy to play through, and at times we still are, and the balance is off in midfield, and I think that impacts Wirtz and where he's played at times. I think he plays Gakpo because he probably thinks he's better defensively than Rio, and he probably is, because Rio has been, you know, when you see him in defensive situations, that's not his strength. But if you had a solid 6 players in a decent structure, then you would expect the likes of Wirtz and Rio to flourish, I think. So I think for me, over recent weeks, I just think more and more the structure of the midfield has been really poor. I think Ryan Gravenberch doesn't track runners. I don't think he's got that, 360-degree awareness and to track runners, and I think we're just missing that deep line player that breaks up play and starts attacks.
And it feels like Gravenberg has when he won Young Player of the Year, didn't he, last year?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like he's been asked to do something different. I don't know why. His legs, I don't want to say his legs are gone because he's only young, but it does feel a little bit like that. Why is he being asked to do that when he won Young Player of the Year last year? I know Mac's legs have gone, to be fair, and Zobbo's been playing at right back, so maybe he's not been doing the running, but why is that? Because Grav was Young Player of the Year last year. I would have even put him in for Player of the Year last year,
Yeah. And he admitted himself, didn't he, after, because I think he scored a couple of goals early on, and he said he'd been given license to get more forward. So fine, but who's going to do the defensive work he was doing last year?
Someone's got to be there to mop up. Yeah,
exactly. So
the LFC Total Red Football Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts from. Also available on your smart speaker, or you can watch us on YouTube.
As I said, they got the 3 points. They got up to 4th place. So hopefully they can stay at least there and maximise their chances now in the last 4 games. If, as we've already mentioned, they do get the top 5 and into the Champions League, there's a very good chance. There's reports now saying that Arne Slot is not going anywhere in the summer. I've seen this said a few times, not necessarily by the super reliable journalists, but it seems to be coming out a lot more that they've got no plans to change. And in saying that, I seen a report, I think it was yesterday, that from the Netherlands, that he may be adding to his coaching staff. So that, to me, makes me feel like he knows he's staying. He just wants to tweak his coaching staff ready for next season. The guy, I've had a look at how you pronounce it. It says it's 18 Reiner.
Right.
I don't know. He was supposed to come a couple of years ago when Arne Slot arrived, but his work permit issues prevented that. There's also, I've seen only 1 or 2 reports that maybe Giovanni Van Bronckhorst might be moving on. Would that open the door for maybe Johnny Heitinger to come back? Because he seemed to work well at Liverpool with Slot. And you think to yourself, well, that could be a massive change behind the scenes that could have a big impact, obviously, on the pitch. What do you think of that, Ritchie?
I saw that Arnie, when he was asked in his press conference today, was asked is he going to add to his backroom staff, and he said it makes sense. So there's obviously wheels in the motion there.
Yeah.
I can't say I know much about Etienne, although obviously Arnie's worked with him at Feyenoord, and for me, I think it more or less highlights that the Liverpool hierarchy are keeping faith in Arne, because if not, they would not entertain, or he would not be talking about his backroom staff.
This is it.
I've got to be really careful, I think, when I talk about Arne Slot, because he delivered a Premier League title in his first season, which I think only other 3 Premier League managers have ever done. I do think, if I'm completely honest, I am very apprehensive of him adding to his backroom staff unless they can improve him as a coach as well. And this has not been me pessimistic at all. I think it's me being a realist, and I hope that it doesn't come across as me blasting him, because he did something phenomenal in terms of winning number 20. But I am very worried at the same time in terms of I'm not sure he is the right person at this moment in time to take Liverpool on in the Premier League. And the reason why I say that is because I don't like the style of play that I'm watching. I'm not convinced that our attack is as good as our defence. So therefore, we're leaking defence. We're leaking goals because of our defence and not scoring goals because of our attack. I always felt with Jurgen, and yes, we're talking about the glory days, but I never felt defeated. Sometimes I look this season where we go a goal down and go, oh, that's it then. I never felt like that. Even with Brendan, I always thought there was a chance of a comeback. And Brendan wasn't the best Liverpool manager by any stretch. And neither was Kenny, but we still want to league up with Kenny. I'm not talking about league winning Kenny, by the way, because, so Kenny is my idol, absolute idol. He's The one person I could absolutely sit down, if you said we could have a meal with one person, it'll be Sir Kenny. But his second round was not that as well. So like you have to look back and go, okay, well, who made a big difference? It is the Shanklers, it is the Paisleys. You know, I never felt in this past year with Arnie, I'm 100% with him. And to him to add to the backroom staff with these people from the Netherlands, I feel like he's surrounding himself a little bit, a tiny little bit, with people who he feels safe with, not people who's going to challenge him. And you need challenge.
Fair, yeah.
A football club like Liverpool Football Club, and you need to say, not thinking Cody on the wing, not thinking Bradley at right back, not thinking Virgil at centre back. You need to have people saying, not quite sure yet. I think he's surrounding himself a little bit like what Edwards and Hughes have done with yes men. And I think you have to surround yourself with people who are going to challenge you and make you vindicated in your selection because you can justify it. I'm not sure whether that's going on right now. I'm personally not sure if, again, I'll happily be proven wrong. If next season, if we stay with him, we're missing a step by not getting someone else in this summer that can rebuild a squad. So we'll see. We'll see what Etienne has to offer, because he could be the Giovanni van Bronckhorst that we had last season. He could be the Linders. He could be who was Jurgen's assistant, you know, the one with the long black hair.
The brain. Uvac.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. He could be that. I just don't know.
We just got to see. Yeah. Neil, what do you think? If he brings, or if he's talking about bringing somebody in, you know, obviously that points to all directions that he's staying. You know, are you happy with that? You know, after the season has been quite difficult for numerous different reasons. You know, and I've seen a few reports a couple of months ago. You know, the bosses were kind of like, listen, we knew this could happen. Spending so much doesn't guarantee it's going to instantly work magic. Yeah. So they've taken time to bed in, like we've said, and obviously other things have happened off the field last summer. So do you think it's fair to say, listen, he's got a year left on his contract, take the chance while you've got it, use up this last year and see if it changes. If it doesn't, it's not even going to cost them, even if they got to mid-season and wanted to get rid of him, it's not actually going to cost them that much because it's coming to the end of a contract anyway. So in a way, is it kind of like, is it a wasted opportunity to change? Or is it a good opportunity for him to prove people wrong and say this was just one of those things this season?
Yeah, I see. There's a lot of messages coming out in the press. It seems almost every day about how much backing he's got from the Liverpool hierarchy. And if they feel that strongly about him, then I think they would have offered him a new deal by now. So I'm not convinced by some of the noises that are coming out. Because I'm not, you know, I'm not sure how entirely happy he is at the club. I'm sure he's elated that he's managed Liverpool Football Club, but he's, some of the things that he's saying in press conferences, there's a lot of excuses, a lot of things he doesn't seem to like about the English game. So I do wonder whether, you know, the club are saying, oh, we back him wholeheartedly, to try and sort of see whether they can come to some sort of compromise to part ways mutually. I don't know. It's one thing that's crossed my mind.
I think I just, sorry for interrupting, Neil. Do you think maybe they're just waiting to say, right, he has made the Champions League. Mm-hmm. That makes it a lot easier to attract another top manager in, because
it could be.
If they're out of the Champions League, you know, it's harder. Because you're coming in going, right, it's a project you're starting from scratch almost again to get back into that. Where if they're already in it this summer, they could say, listen, go for it.
Yeah. No, and that's possible. But it just doesn't add up to me that there's so much, oh, he's backed, they think he's great, whatever, but they're not backing him with a contract. With Klopp, they were tying him down 2-3 years before the end of his contract. So I don't fully buy into the fact that they're fully backing him. As you say, maybe they think there's a year to go. He's been dealt a difficult hand this year. They'll get some people in to balance the squad and to help him in the back room, and hopefully it will turn around. But I think a lot of the fan base are not happy, and you've got your online fans, and you're always going to get complaints. But when you see Anfield emptying out, and you see the away fans not
The
happy.
boos.
Yeah, it's not easy to come back from that. So I'm wary. I like Arne Slot. I'm very grateful for what he gave us last year. We had some brilliant memories, and he may finish third.
Yeah.
So from if you look at it just like that, it possibly would be harsh to point ways. But if these stories are true and there's backroom staff, I saw the Heitinga story as well, then maybe they are. But I do agree with Ritchie that you end up with a mediocre environment if you end up with people that aren't willing to challenge you. Challenge is healthy, and I think that's how you build the high performing team. So that would be a concern as well.
Yeah. Well, we shall see, obviously, if there's a turnover of backing staff or if there's a turnover of manager. We're not sure yet, but we shall obviously keep our eyes on that.
You can follow the LFC Total Red Football Podcast on X, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
One other story that popped out over the last couple of weeks, especially, is I've seen it mentioned a few weeks ago now, when there seemed to be an altercation between Curtis Jones and Arne Slot on the touchline. And we touched on it in one of the episodes previously. But now I've been reading, there's a few different reports out there that Curtis Jones could look to move on this summer. What's your thoughts on that, Ritchie? Would you prefer him to stay? What kind of player do you think he is? Should he be staying, or does it matter if he moves on that much?
No, I think maybe I'm biased because I wrote an article, about 5 or 6 years ago now for Sports Illustrated saying Curtis Jones, because colons are important, the Prince of Liverpool, ? So I'm very biased towards Curtis Jones. I think that he is an essential squad player. I absolutely think he has to stay. I know what people's gripe is. He hangs on the ball for too long, rah. For me, I think Curtis Jones is the ultimate squad player. He's a scouser. You've got to keep him in that team. He's heart and soul. And the only actual gripe that I had with him, and I text one of our friends, Matty, actually, who, we all know Matty, and he married Curtis Jones's cousin. I said, why did he not knock out Onana in that Everton game, where Onana went, I think it was Onana, he went and celebrated in front of Liverpool fans. I was like, the only thing that I've one gripe, why did he not go and punch him in the head? Because he's a scouser through and through. Like, for me, he's played 149 games for Liverpool. He's got 10 goals, he's got 11 assists. The stats don't matter because he's such a tidy player. He's so good on the ball. He is a little bit of a genie, like Genie Wijnaldum. When I look at him, I think, okay, he could be a genie, but then I also think, okay, I would never ever compare anyone, by the way, to Stevie, but I see the way he moves, and he'll never be a Stevie, and Curtis will even say this as well, like, he'll never be a Stevie, never in a million years, but I see the way he glides with the ball, and I think he's a confident ball carrier. Like, for me, he's in my starting 11 over Maka right now. I'd rather have Jones in there
that's fair.
than I would Mac. So it's absurd to me that we think he will not get in that squad or not get a new contract because, one, he's homegrown. If you want to play politics, right, he's homegrown. That's the biggest thing, okay? And now, yes, you can play on that, righty, use it to his advantage. He's homegrown. He loves Liverpool. He is versatile. We've seen him at right back. I don't think he's not been bad at right back. I personally don't think. I don't think he's been awful. His natural position, when he actually came through the academy, was on the left wing, left attack, which is so funny to see because you see him as a left wing, and I remember watching him, about 8 years ago, and I thought, this boy is going to be brilliant. He's going to be like the next Hazard because he moved like that. But then you sort of get to the Premier League level and you think, okay, well, he's not that. So you move to the 10, you move back to the 8, and then you sort of move to the 6. He is that 6-8 hybrid for me. I would happily have him in that Liverpool 11 on Sunday because I think he's got the passion, he's got the pride, he's got the presence, and he's also got the capability to actually play in those positions. But the biggest thing about the 6 and the 8 is, can you enable your 8 and your 10 and your wingers to do their jobs? I think he can. But I don't know whether he does it consistently, which is probably why he won't go on the plane to England, even though I think he should be. I don't think he does it consistently because I don't think he unlocks that passing potential, if I'm honest. Like, if, I love him to bits. And if anyone's watching, Matty, if you're watching, like, tell him, Slacky's not like he's 100% a fan, but he doesn't unlock that passing potential. Like, he does everything, but he's not like Bosch quick enough to release that ball. Where you saw a Xabi Alonso and Mascherano, they're deep sixes that would spot like a Xavi. And I don't want to compare him to Xavi or, all the great Barca players or the Casemiros when he was at Madrid. But like, they would literally look, scan, pass, Bosch, it's gone. Curtis doesn't have that, which is fine because that's not his game. But that's the next level that he needs to be at. So yes, I would keep him. He's homegrown. He's brilliant. He's a squad player. I think he's got the passion as well.
Okay. Neil, do you agree with Ritchie, or do you think you're not going to be bothered if he does move on? I mean, like I said, there's nothing concrete. Say I've seen reports, possibly go abroad, possibly go to Aston Villa, places like that. So he'd stay in the Premier League, definitely. But do you think Liverpool will be wise to keep him?
Yeah, because I think he's difficult to replace, and I think it would cost quite a lot of money to replace him. So it's important to have a scouser in the dressing room. We've obviously lost another one at the end of last season, and he is very talented. I do agree with Ritchie that at times he does need to move the ball quicker, and I think that's people's biggest concern and criticism about him. But he is immensely talented. So from a club perspective, I would not be actively looking to replace him and move him on and replace him. I'd be giving him a new deal. I have a feeling, though, that the preference for him may be to move on, which again is slightly concerning and a slightly different scenario, because obviously if he wants to move on, we may have to listen to offers. So as I say, I wouldn't be actively looking to move him on. I think he's a valuable squad player. But if he decides he wants to go, then I'm not sure. With a year left, we've got to take the money and get what we can for him. I mean, if someone said to me, "You're going to replace Liverpool, are going to replace McAllister and Jones with a real Fabinho type, like top class midfielder and an Adam Walton or something," then I'd say, okay, that doesn't concern me as much as it would.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, though, Neil, like, the thing is, like, we've got to hit that homegrown quota, and we're slim. Like, with the homegrown, like, you're going to see Gomez probably leave as well. We might see Jones. And you mentioned Wharton. The only one I can think of is, who I would love is Elliot Anderson, but
another one,
he's got £100 million price tag on his head, and we're not going to spend that. So, we've got to get the homegrown players quota up. So, I don't know. It just financially, it doesn't make sense to lose Jones for, let's say, he was linked to Inter, wasn't he, last day of the season, because he fell out of favour with Arne. But we lose him for 30, but we get Wharton for 80. I don't think there's a £50 million difference. I mean, I know Wharton's younger and he's got absolute potential, but like, I want them both there.
Yeah. That's fair. Again, we will keep an eye on the situation. Like you say, the few games left, and then it'll start the rumour mill go into overdrive then for the summer transfers, won't they? As they always do. So,
what's your view, Kings, on Jones and what?
I definitely keep him. I think he has the attributes to, as Richie said, be a good squad player. He's not going to be. I mean, in modern football, anyway, it's hard now to be a consistent. You're the first name on the team sheet type thing. You're always in the starting 11, unless you're Mo Salah, as has been over the years until the end of this year. But he's a very good squad player, and I think he can do a good job for Liverpool. You know, I know there's fans out there. I've been at Anfield myself, and I've heard him getting slated by his own fans. The guy sitting just in front of me last time I was on the Cop, he absolutely ripped him a new one. Now, I think he had a personal issue with him because as soon as he stepped on the field, as soon as he stepped on the field, he was on him, and he never let up. He didn't moan at anybody else losing the ball, whether he dawdled on the ball an extra couple of seconds, or whether he lost it in a tackle, or he literally just ripped him for like 20, 25 minutes in that Bournemouth game, the first game of the season. Couldn't believe it. I'm not like that with him. You know, at the end of the day, yes, everybody has off days. I didn't think he did in that game. But so I know there's fans who are not bothered. I personally would keep him in the squad and try and make as good use. And then if you bring in Adam Wharton as well, that's great, because you can mix and match then. But if you lose him and have to replace him, like you say, and maybe McAllister, then it becomes another huge rebuild again. Yeah. And in a way, you could do without that. You know, huge rebuild. But
there's bigger issues, isn't there, to resolve than Curtis Jones.
You're listening to the LFC Total Red Football Podcast.
Now, I am just about to talk about the Man United game, obviously coming up on Sunday. Just bundled in with that, Arne Slot has confirmed that Mo Salah is expected to return to Liverpool action before the end of the season after going off with a muscle injury. We all feared the worst. Maybe that's the way his career is going to end, because, yes, he's announced he's leaving, which is, for the majority of fans, it's like, wow, you don't think that day is coming. But, it is. In 4 games' time, he is leaving, but he has said that he should be back. Now, whether that's next week or, a couple of weeks, I don't know. But just very quickly, your thoughts on it. Are you glad it won't be the last time, Ritchie?
In terms of what, sorry?
Of watching Mo on the field, play for Liverpool.
No, I think
he does get back before the end of the season.
If he had one leg on that last game of the season, he limps on at 90 minutes. They put the board up after 30 seconds and he goes off again so he can get that standing ovation.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Like, there's no excuse for that not to happen. We've got nothing to play for. We will get Champions League football, 100%. Mo should come on, even if it's the last kick. And even if you just say, Mo, just stand up front, like, do nothing. Do nothing.
Just stand in front of the cop and take the adulation.
Yeah, literally, just go that. That's all he needs. And even go, okay, after
arms
30 seconds,
outstretched,
we'll put on Jayden Danns, or we'll put on someone else who's got a broken leg. Like, he can come off then to a round of applause. I do think we've got nothing left. Like, fuck it. Like, you've got 2 subs. Sub him on, sub him off. So we can get that round of... This is what I'm going back to the Arne. Like, Jurgen would do that. I do think Jurgen would do that. He did it with Bobby. He did it with Sadio. He's done it with so many players. Yeah. Like, even Alisson, like, if this is Alisson's last game and Freddie's in goal, Ali, stand in goal, do it. Next time the ball goes out, we're taking you off. Yeah, that's what it should be, because these are Liverpool legends and they deserve an absolute send-off. Like, and that's what Liverpool Football Club has always been about. I've been so proud, like, forever to support Liverpool because we do the heartful things. We're not mercenaries. We're not ruthless. We are pure heart. And that is my club. That's our club. Like, we love our players. And Mo deserves that. Like, oh gosh, if anyone deserves it, like, Mohamed Salah deserves that 100%. And it's such a shame that he's out for the Manchester United game, because he's played them 18 times. He scored 16 goals and got 6 assists.
Yeah,
he's made Manchester United his absolute bitch, because no one else has ever done that. I read Duncan Alexander's tweet. Mohamed Salah is Manchester United at Old Trafford's highest goal scorer in the 2020s. He comes 8th.
Wow.
There's only 7 players who have scored more in the Premier League in the 2020s at Old Trafford than Mohamed Salah. That's how great he is. So this kid, like, he's an old man now. I'm an old man, so I can say that. But, like, he deserves all of the accolades, all of the statues. Like, no one else has tore Man United up apart from him.
No.
So it is a big shame that he's not there, because I'd love another like goal against them. But no, for me, like, I think he I don't want to say deserves his flowers, because I think he gets floated around quite a lot, but he does. He deserves his flowers and roses and whatever else you can throw at him. Like, he's been a phenomenal signing, and you can't ever say that he's not been good enough for Liverpool FC, because against Manchester United alone, like I said, he's made them their bitch, and there's nothing better than Liverpool fan to turn around and say, Mohamed Salah owned your club.
Yeah, this is it. Neil, what's your thoughts? Obviously, going off against Palace, you did fear the worst. That you're thinking a hamstring could be weeks on end, doesn't pull on a shirt again. So at least there's light there that this might happen. So happy with that.
Yeah, he's Superman, isn't it, in terms of injuries? So I think they've confirmed it's minor. So
Yeah.
if it is, he could be back next week, or he could be back the week after. So back in time to play. He's been playing better over recent weeks as well, I think. I've got a feeling he'll go somewhere else in Europe and probably do quite well. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that last day of the season needs to, and they will do. They'll do something to recognise what he's contributed year in, year out. And you look at his numbers every single year.
Yeah.
And even this year, like, his numbers are nowhere near what they've been in the past, but they're not dreadful. He's got more than, Bukayo Saka, and a lot of people that get very highly rated. So he deserves the best possible send off, and they will do, because they've done it for the others, and I guess it will be about him and Robbo on that final day. And knowing him, he'll pop up and give us a goal as well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like I say, we will get him to see in front of the Kop. There's a Chelsea and Brentford, the two home games that are left. I mean, I'd love it to be the Chelsea game. Comes on, scores a hat-trick, just because it's them who let him go in the first place, because he wasn't good enough. He was too small, etc. It wasn't very good, they said. And then comes back to the Premier League and absolutely trounces pretty much anybody that's been in the Premier League in the last, 5-10 years. So yeah, I'd love to see him in the shirt at least one more time. I am actually quite disappointed that, probably because of politics behind the scenes, that he's had over the season with Arne Slot, etc., that he's not actually going to see out the last part of his deal and have another 12 months. But he's probably thinking he's not going to play as much because they're reshaping it, etc. And it's time to step away now while he's pretty much on a high. And it's like, okay, I get it, but I am disappointed. That's my side of it. But,
no, I agree.
As we said, he's not available for Sunday's game. Ritchie, obviously your favourite team they're playing, because I can tell by the way you've spoke a few times about him in this stream. Playing Manchester United at Old Trafford, 3:30 on Sunday. It's a big game anyway, as I said at the very beginning. To me, it's the biggest game in the UK, bar none, and that passes Rangers Celtic. That's quite ferocious, that game, and so it's a lot to say that. I can see the passion. I'm not taking that away from, and then you got Spurs, Arsenal. People say now Man City are a bigger club than Man United and all this. I don't care. Liverpool, Man United games are the biggest ones out there. They're the first ones you look for on the fixtures when they come out. So, like I say, playing Sunday, how do you see this one going, then,
mate? Firstly, I echo everything you said. Liverpool Man United is the be all and end all. I don't care what people say. Like, it's the biggest rival in the. I would say, do you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take my 9-9 and swing it. It's the biggest rival in the world because no one else comes close. We are so close together in terms of like titles on. We're on 2020. We're like 9. We're 5 and they're 2, which is shit for them. Maybe not 5 and 3, maybe. But like it is the biggest. It's the biggest fucking thing in the world because it is. It's Liverpool, Manchester. It's music. It's fashion. It's sport. It's like we compete against each other so many times, and it is the biggest thing. Like, I don't care what people say about Arsenal, Chelsea, Millwall, Tottenham, Everton, Man City. This is the biggest game in the Premier League, and I would say 90% of people, unless you are deluded, this is the biggest game of the season. And I'm really worried because the past 10 years, I've been going and saying, we'll smash them, we'll smash them, we'll smash them. I'm worried because I don't feel like that right now. And that is what encapsulates me with, I suppose, the Arne Slot era right now. And that's okay, because we might smash them, we might beat them. I just don't feel that confident. But at 100%, this is the biggest one. I cannot stand finishing below Manchester United. Now, what I'm really glad of is that I truly believe that never in my lifetime will I see Liverpool finish 15th like I did see Manchester United finish 15th last season.
Yeah.
And I would never see a bigger gap as what I did between those two clubs. And I'll never see Manchester United lift 6 European trophies, because they won't ever get to that level. The likes of PSG, the likes of Real Madrid, even Arsenal, they're miles and streets ahead of them. They're never going to get to that level. So I'm quite glad that if I die tomorrow, fine. I mean, I'll be really upset, obviously. But
so would we, Rich. So would we.
Yeah. But they're never at that level. So it's massive. And this is, I suppose, where the pressure comes in, because I fucking hate them. I fucking hate them so much. But do you know what the sad thing is? I can fucking see us losing, because they will outrun us and they will outplay us. And they've got Bruno Fernandes, and they've got stalwart players like fucking slabhead Harry Maguire, who can do things that no man has ever seen before. But when he turns it on his day, he's like fucking Superman. And that's what worries me, because I can't stand the fact that these Manchester United players can do something like that. And apparently our current players, who are worth £450 million, can't do that. And that's what worries me, because I can't take, and you can't take, and the whole fan base can't take Manchester United finishing above us when we should have been winning this fucking league this year, and we look nowhere near to it. And Manchester United, who finished 15th, then brought in Michael Carrick, and then has obviously gone levels above. And Bruno Fernandes looks like who's going to be, and rightly so perhaps, the player of the year, going out in all styles, and probably might even break what Mohamed Salah tried to break last year, and that's the assist record. I can't take this shit. I really can't take it, because why the fuck is this happening? I just don't get it. They're not even that good. We're just that bad. If they run more than us, they'll beat us. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. If they run more than us, which is what 29 out of the past 31 teams have done, they'll beat us. And I can't take that. And it's inexcusable, and I fucking hate it. And I've run out of words now, because I'm just so I've wound myself up to into a mechanism of absolute aggression that I can't break out of this bubble. If we don't beat them, or if we don't at least get a draw, if we beat them, put it this way, we qualify for the Champions League. Okay, if we beat them, we qualify for the Champions League. What greater motivation is it than these Liverpool players to go out to beat them, get qualification in the Champions League to go above them? I don't think we've got that fight to do it.
Okay. Right. Take a breath. Neil, what's your thoughts on this game? Because it is a big game. Michael Carrick has, I'd say it with gritted teeth, he has got them playing obviously a lot better. I'd love to see Amarin still in charge. But he has got them playing well to a point. He may be the full-time manager next year. I don't know if he's done that well for them. But this is a hard game this season compared to what it was, obviously last year when they were struggling. Liverpool the other way around now. What's your thoughts on it?
So I watched them on Monday, and I've watched them a bit recently, and I think they've been getting away with it a little bit. I thought they were a bit lucky against Brentford in the week. Now, there's no doubt that they are a better team than they were a few months ago. and they've got players that are performing very, very well. But there is an opportunity to get at them, and Brentford did it on Monday night several times. So I think with this game, I think a lot of it comes down to our approach and our attitude. If we go in there with a lackadaisical, half-hearted attitude, I think we'll get beaten. If we go out there and we're determined to take the game to them, and play, kind of a nice, high, intense game of football, then I think we can get a positive result. So I think it will come down to how we approach it. My concern is that we won't approach it in a positive manner, and it'll be sort of half and half. Keep the ball, half a press, and we'll get picked off. So also in terms of the lineup, what does he do on the right? I'd get Rio in the front three, I think, but it'll be.
But he's not been though. He's not been.
It'll be Frimpong, Isak, and Gakpo. So,
but you've got to get Rio in there.
Yeah, I agree. But I think, as I say, I think they can be beaten because I think they have been getting away with it a little bit of late, despite their improvement. But whilst I don't think they're a particularly strong team, I don't think we are either. So hopefully we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Do you think, sorry, just to interject, do you think the fact that it's at Old Trafford, they're going to be up for it 3:30 on a Sunday?
Yes. Yeah.
That atmosphere is going to be electric. Like, that is all Bruno. You're like, that is their atmosphere.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're going to ram it down our throats on Sunday because they're that little bit ahead, and they've been doing that much better, and we've had our struggles. So that, yes, unfortunately, Rich, that is going to be true, I think.
But that's where a fast start is really, really important, and that's what I mean in terms of our approach to the game. When we went there and won 5-0, we got an early goal, and you take the crowd kind of out of it. But I think this season, we tend to waste 45 minutes before we start having a real go. And that's my concern, that we'll be too passive in that first half and we'll get picked off and the game will be over before we've really gone for it.
Okay. Well, obviously, none of us want a loss on Sunday, and I hope that sincerely doesn't happen because I'm sure my phone will be red hot if it does from so-called United fans from down south, I reckon. Just a final word then. What do you think the score will be, lads? Rich, I'll come with you first.
Desi. I'll go, and that's being freaking hell. That's like being optimistic. I'll go Desi 2-2. I won't name the scorers. I just hope Isak can maintain his goal scoring prowess. And yes, Neil was absolutely. Oh, I don't know if it was Neil himself actually. It wasn't the fact that he was like, I suppose, like waiting for the ball. It just came to him, an instinctive finish, which was brilliant, like absolutely fantastic. And that's an instinctive finisher. That's your Michael Owen. I would like to see him, I suppose, get involved a bit more in the game. But again, it depends what you're playing. As long as he finishes his chances, that's great. I will go with Desi, and I really hope that Isak gets on the score sheet. As much as I love Flo, as you all know that I do, it's not important that he scores, but it's important that he does well.
Okay, Neil, your thoughts?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Oh, right, okay then. Well, funny enough, I was going to do the same. I don't think they'll get the win. I think it'll be a draw. So we've all gone the same. Hopefully, we're not that disappointed. I mean, we could be ecstatically happy, but I'm hoping we're not disappointed. And we at least get a draw. That would be.
If we finished above them, they would be absolutely devastated.
More
so than if we finish 4th or 5th, they will be absolutely devastated because I think they thought that they had it over us all season. So from that perspective, let's go for it and get 3 points.
Yeah, and look, I think we need 3 more points to get Champions League qualifications. So why not fucking do it at Old Trafford? The absolute old stomping ground. I just don't think I generally, again, not anti-Slot. I just don't think he's got it in him.
No.
I don't think he's got it in him to say, if we win, boys, we're Champions League. Like, if that's your Gerrard, if that's your Carragher, if that's your Huppier, if that's your Alonso, if that's your Suarez, they're fucking 2-footing everyone, like, to try and win that. I just don't think without Millie, Hendo, even
Leaders.
those players.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've not got. Go and hit them. Go and hit them. Like, literally, like, don't let anyone go past you. Like, Robbo is probably the only player I would say. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't let anyone go past you without putting something in them. Because this is Liverpool Manchester United. It's the biggest game for me. Like, oh my gosh, if we were on this pitch, I would get nowhere near him. Nowhere near. But I'd fucking put my knee through him. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the biggest game. It's the biggest game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
make
You've got
sure
to be
it's
up.
fucking worth it.
Yeah. You've got to be up for games like this. Yeah. Right. Well, we have come to the end of the show, guys. Hopefully, like I say, that it doesn't turn into a complete disaster this weekend. And on next week's show, we have to talk about that. Hopefully, we're talking positively, but we shall see. So I want to say a huge thank you to Neil and to Ritchie for joining us tonight on the LFC Total Red Football Podcast. As I always say, you can like and subscribe and watch us on YouTube or TikTok, or you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc., or wherever you get your podcast from. So again, please like and subscribe, and we'll be back again next week with another episode, and we'll be reviewing the Manchester United game.
Thanks for listening. Join us next time for more LFC Total Red Football Podcast.